You won't believe what happened next. A film that felt like a smooth, soulful classic on screen was a straight-up pressure cooker behind the scenes. Rivalries, rewrites, near fistfights, and a director faking dance moves like his job depended on it. Because it did. If you think you know the story of a certain five-man R&B group and the movie that turned them into legends, think again. The real drama didn't end when the cameras cut it, got louder, messier, and way more human. It starts with a vision. Robert Townsend wanted authenticity, not fluff. Alongside Keenan Ivory Wayans, he kept chasing a version of the story that felt timeless, so much so that they churned through dozens of drafts to get there. We're talking late nights, heated notes, and the sort of arguments that leave a room quiet for a full beat afterward. Why? Because the movie wasn't just about melodies and matching suits. It was about the cost of chasing greatness in a world that didn't always want black artists to win. That tension bled into everything. Casting? Brutal. Townsend saw nearly 10,000 hopefuls across New York, Chicago, and LA. Actors who could sing, dancers who could act, performers who could do both without breaking a sweat. Out of that storm came Michael Wright, Leon Robinson, Harry Lennix, and Tico Wells, a lineup that clicked on screen because it collided off it. When the story asks, what happens when the lead singer isn't the heartthrob, and the heartthrob knows it? You don't have to force sparks, they're already flying. Rehearsals were a grind, 7 intense weeks of vocals, choreography, and ego management. And that's where the dynamic got real. Usually the frontman is the pretty face. Here, roles split in two. Suddenly, every look, every note, every bit of stage blocking felt like territory. According to people who were there, tempers flared, crew members stepped in. And Townsend, wearing 4 hats at once, kept the train on the tracks, while soothing bruised pride and keeping his story honest. Honest meant confronting ugly history. The movie doesn't tiptoe around racism, the backdoor entrances, or labels swapping black faces off album covers for safer images. Some critics called it heavy-handed, others called it overdue. Townsend refused to sand it down. He knew artists like the Dells had lived this. In fact, they didn't just advise, they sang. Those velvet harmonies you hear, real R&B royalty. And when the cast hit the road to promote, the singers sang live while the actors delivered the moves. It turned the film's world into a living, breathing stage show. Not every risk was on purpose, though. Here's the wildest part. Townsend couldn't dance. Not needs a little coaching, couldn't. And yet, he played a man who had to glide like butter. Enter Harold Nicholas, yes, that Harold Nicholas, one half of the legendary Nicholas brothers, stepping in at age 70 to choreograph and play Sarge, the drill sergeant mentor. Between clever camera angles, canny editing, and sheer nerve, Townsend sold it. He also picked up a few scars, literally, from pushing through, takes his body, didn't love. Showbiz glamour, meet stubborn grit. The studio? Let's just say they had opinions. One of the most powerful scenes, the church moment, where Eddie King Jr. returns, clean and singing gospel, almost got axed. Too slow, too religious, too risky, they said. Townsend dug in. That scene stayed. And if you've ever felt your throat tighten when a broken voice finds its way back to the light, you know why he fought. There were what-if castings that'll make your jaw drop. Whitney Houston was this close to playing Baby Doll, the woman who loves Eddie through his rise and fall. In the end, her team passed, and Troy Byer stepped in and made the role her own. Townsend even dreamed briefly about Denzel Washington as Eddie, but reality and the budget said no. Fate answered with Michael Wright, who turned Eddie's arc into a wound you could hear. Funny how not getting the star sometimes gives you the soul. Reality kept mixing with myth. The notorious window scene with Big Red, the one that makes your stomach drop, echoed stories. Artists had whispered about the old music game. Some said it mirrored a rumored incident tied to Jackie Wilson. Others close to him, like producer Carl Davis, firmly denied anything like that ever happened. That's the thing about legends and scars. Sometimes the truth is in the feeling, not the footnotes. And then there's the soundtrack mischief. The label leaned into the illusion and credited songs to the fictional group instead of the real singers behind those notes. Buyers weren't just getting music from a movie. They were buying a piece of the world the movie built. Smart? Absolutely. Confusing? A little. Unforgettable? No question. Outside the frame, the roller coaster kept rolling. On a promotional night at a pro basketball game, young Tressa Thomas sang the national anthem so earnestly and so long that even Michael Jordan locked in and game ready started giving Townsend the wrap-it-up eyes. When a legend wants to play ball, you don't keep him waiting. But hey, a moment's a moment. The release? Delayed? Politics? Paperwork? Patience? Townsend had poured his heart into the cut and had to sit on his hands while the machine did what the machine does. He didn't waste time sulking. Between setups on this film, he started writing his next one, yes, really. Imagine directing, producing, starring, and then ducking into a corner to outline a superhero script. That's not hustle. That's a different gear. One more pivot you might not know. The story's inspiration moved. At first, Townsend leaned into the arc of The Temptations. He even considered David Ruffin and Eddie Kendricks for technical insights, but legal and political crosscurrents pushed him toward the Dells, who became the probably 7-7 film's beating heart in more ways than one. As for Ruffin, friends say he'd been battling demons for years. He died in 1991, not long after the film's release. People still trade rumors about what might have changed his path. What's certain is simpler and sadder. Incredible talent, real pain, and an industry that isn't always gentle with either. Even the Payola thread the quiet bribes that pushed certain records to the top ruffled feathers. Some said the movie glamorized that side of the business. Others argued it finally told the truth with its chest. That debate still hums today, which is the point. You don't make a classic by making everybody comfortable. So, why does this story still hit like a baseline you can't shake? Because it's bigger than a movie. It's a time capsule of craft meeting courage. It's Diahann Carroll stepping in with pure star power. It's Fayard Nicholas's legacy echoing through Harold's choreography. It's sweat on a rehearsal floor and ink drying on rewrite number 20-something. It's a director who couldn't dance, learning how to fake it, and a team that refused to fake the truth. Now, if this deep dive gave you goosebumps, if it made you hear those harmonies again or look at the glitter with new eyes, you know what to do. Drop a comment with your favorite scene, tell me which casting what-if blows your mind, and hit that like and subscribe so you don't miss the next behind-the-curtain breakdown. Until then, keep your ear to the music and your heart on the beat.